All right, we are going to wait for everybody to come on in who was waiting in our waiting room. So we'll give it about a minute or two. Probably just a minute, but we'll see. And while we wait, just go over a few things. So welcome to our virtual program, Genealogy in Your Pajamas. Um, With all of our virtual programs, we do keep microphones muted for all attendees. So if you have any questions, please put your questions in the chat or the Q&A, and my lovely assistant, Kathy, will share those questions either with me or answer them directly, depending on how best to address them. My name is Meredith Del Monte. I am one of the librarians who works in our Genealogy Center. Um, we do ask all participants to remain respectful when commenting, and for this program, it is going to be focused on basics of resources that we have available. So if you have any specific genealogy research questions or things like that, we are unfortunately not going to have enough time to address those today, but we do have a great resource called the Book a Genealogy Librarian that gets you one-on-one service, a one-on-one service for 30 minutes to help out with those roadblocks. So let us get started. So today we will be focusing on resources that you have available to use from the comfort of your home when you're in your pajamas, or, if you would prefer to do your genealogy research in a nice cafe where you can have coffee and relax. So we will start off looking at what I call library-specific resources. These are the resources that you get through the use of your library card. Um, and then we will look at some recommended resources that we have available on our website that we have links to. We'll kind of work our way from big to small, looking at United States, I mixed those up, didn't I? Texas, and then Collin County, and finally some Plano specific resources. And the nice thing is, as we work down, many of the bigger resources that we've done in the larger geographic regions will have information related to the smaller ones as we move down. And if we have time, I have a couple of resources to share that are very small, but they're not as interesting as what we've got available on our website. So I'm going to switch over to our website because it's easier to just navigate and talk about these things. So give me one moment to escape out of here. Do, do, do. There we go. Not the smoothest transition, but that's okay. So, when you come to the library website, you can navigate here by typing in planolibrary.org, or you can go to plano.gov, which is the city website, and select library from the top here. You will have two ways to get to our Genealogy Center webpage and our collection of genealogy-specific resources. So you can scroll down here to where it mentions the Genealogy Center and click the link there, or you can navigate directly from the bar at the top and drop down to visit the library and select Genealogy Center here. These links go to the same page. From the Genealogy Center page, we have up at the very top the genealogy resources, and that is what we're going to be exploring today. So we do have a couple of resources that are available in library only, and so we're not going to touch on those today. One of the big ones is Ancestry Library Edition, but an alternative to that is Family Search. So Family Search, as a Family Search affiliate library, the city of Plano and our libraries have access to records that are only available to affiliate libraries, which means to get to those records, you would have to be in the library. However, accessing the indexes related to those records, as well as all of the other resources that they have available, are still accessible from home as long as you get a free account. So, from a free account, when you sign in to Family Search, you get access to their searches for their records. You can search images, family trees, uh, already researched genealogies, as well as their catalogs and books. Now, the catalog and the books are going to include resources that you have to visit either a affiliate library or a family search center for, but that is something that you can look at because they do also have online content as well. You can also work on building your family tree in here. It offers a online collaborative family tree environment. Uh, the plus side to that is that if you have other family members that are doing research, you can pool your researching to make a much more robust family tree. The downside is because the community is open to editing, people can connect to your tree without any resources backing it up, and you sometimes have to do some pruning to your family tree. um, the nice thing about this is it's a nonprofit family history organization. It has digitized information that is available for many countries, states, and counties. They include census, birth, marriage, and death records. And there's over 4 billion names available from around the world that you can find in here. So, like I said, unlike Ancestry Library Edition, there are plenty of things that you can do to view that information from home. And then once you've gathered that information, you can make a trip into the library rather than having to come in and possibly access stuff. Once you've verified that you've got the information and you want to see the actual image of the document, then you can come in as long as it is a affiliate library approved image. So, are there any questions about Family Search? We do have a great course that goes in depth in how to utilize this tool. So I highly recommend checking out our recordings, or I believe we're also offering the class again virtually in the fall, so you can look for that. Any questions?
Not at this time.
Perfect. All right, well, we'll move on then. So it's not directly labeled Newsbank here, but the links for the Dallas Metro News Collection and the Dallas Morning News Historical Archive, this is accessed through a resource called Newsbank. So when you click on it, that will load up here. You see Newsbank there. Um, you can search using keywords up here. You can get into advanced searches. And what's available for the Dallas Morning News specifically is our older editions of it, dating from 1885 to 1977, and then the slightly newer version from 1984 to 2016. So the older ones are images, and so they are not necessarily indexed as well as the ones that are in text, where they can do a search for the words that you're looking for in the text. But it's still a great resource for looking through newspapers to find um, information on marriage announcements, uh, birth announcements, obituaries, and even if you happen to have a minor celebrity relative who might have gotten mentioned in a article or a public interest piece, that's a way to look for that information in there. In addition to the Dallas Morning News, Newsbank also has many other Texas-based newspapers with various degrees of coverage. Many of them are from the early 90s on to either when the paper stopped publishing or are current. As you can see, we have a few current magazines as well as newspapers available on here. The focus is mostly North Texas, but there are a few others available, as well as a few national magazines and newspapers, and as well as some web-only sources. So you can hop on here and do some searching through various periodicals to find that information that you're looking for. Okay. And this is also where we have the Plano Star Courier, but I will touch back on that when we get into Plano resources. Any questions about that resource?
All good on this end.
All right. And then the next ones that we have are all available through our TechShare database. So TechShare is a statewide resource sharing program designed to improve library services to all Texans. The TechShare Consortium includes public libraries, colleges and universities, and libraries of clinical medicine. TechShare is administered by the Texas State Library and Archives Commission. So it's a state level operated program, and the databases are vetted by this organization to ensure that they provide a robust selection of information at a price that is reasonable for our tax dollars. So it's a great resource to have. We have some direct links on our website for the resources that are available on TechShare, and those include Fold 3. So Fold 3 is a collection focused on military records. They does include some non-military collections, but their main focus is military records. So it spans the U.S. Revolutionary War through the Afghan War. So I'll go ahead and click on it so we can have a look. It does have kind of the main interest points of United States, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and United Kingdom, but there are other records for other countries available as well. I do believe all of them are in the English language, so you're not going to have to try to translate anything on this website. And the landing page is broken up by specific wars, so the collections of the records are available based on those time periods. And you can see different collections within the larger collection and all listed there. And you can open these up and do searching. You can look for specific publications. Now, using these, you are going to want to have specific information that you're trying to look for. These types of things would not be great for a general search where you're just typing in, you know, basic vital information. You want to come in knowing that you have a family member who has a military record and you have a general idea and you just need that documented evidence of it to verify that information. So that would be my recommendation for using this resource. And I did mention they do have non-military collection, and this tends to include mostly newspapers, though they have a little bit on Black history, Native American documents, including stuff like the Dawes enrollment cards, Indian census rolls, as well as some records for naturalization and city directories as well.
Okay, we
So
have two questions.
yeah, sure, go right
Um,
ahead.
they are asking if you need a library card for any of these sites.
So to access Family Search, you won't need a library card to get onto it and to create an account, but you will need to come into the library and use the library's IP address. So either our wireless internet or using our public computers to access any uh, images of documents that are behind the affiliate library record wall that they have. Um, for the Newsbank, I believe as long as you go through the library website, you should have a little pop-up that comes up. I don't get that from my computer because I'm in network here. So if you come and do your research in the library, it automatically logs in for you. But as a person coming in from home, you'll have a little dialog box that has your barcode and your PIN number, which is the last four digits of your phone number, and you'll log in through that. With Fold 3, because it is done through the well, actually, our Fold 3 may be specifically through separate. Fold 3 is available through TechShare, so any TechShare databases are going to have to be signed in using TechShare login. And I'm going to show you a picture of that real quick because that is a unique thing. So when you select TechShare, it will show up like this here, and you'll have a select your library option. And when you do that, let's see if this actually goes to the next one for me. Oh, boop. There it is. There's a little drop down here that you would drop down, select the Plano Public Library System. And we do have a password that you can call the library and we'll give it to you. We just have to verify that you have a library account with us before we'll give that password out because it is specific to Plano Library residents, or not residents, but card holders. Sorry, card holders. And that'll get you access to all of the TechShare databases. I hope that answered that question. The ones we're going through right now, you specifically do need to have a library card to get access. So moving on, again, under the umbrella of the TechShare databases, we've got Heritage Quest Online. So this one, let me pull it up so you can see what it looks like. And this one doesn't have its own login page. So I'd have, as you can see, I'm logged into the Plano Public Library system automatically. And you can come down here to Heritage Quest Online. If for whatever reason your database that you're wanting to use doesn't show up on this landing page, you can go by subject or alphabetical if you know the exact name of it, but subject gets you genealogy and history. When you click on that, you get a list of all of the ones that are available here. And we're addressing the Heritage Quest right now. So this one has digital searchable images. So it includes the federal census records, as well as some other items available. It's powered by Ancestry. So it's basically a way to get at some of those ancestry records that you would need to either be in the library for or have a paid subscription to get to. So it is nice to be able to use that without having to be either physically in the library or pay for that subscription. We also have the Texas Digital Sanborn Maps. So this is going to be helpful if you are trying to narrow down where family might have lived. City lines, county lines, all of that has changed over time. And so sometimes your records may be in one county and then they moved that county line, and now your relative who didn't actually physically move at all is, now in a different county. And so you need to look at records from that new county. So if you're having a roadblock where you're just not finding anything, you can pull up the maps in the Texas Digital Sanborn Maps. Let me open that up. So this includes maps from 1867 to 1970. They have over 436 Texas towns and cities, and that includes basically all of the major cities and a very good collection of some of the smaller ones. And you can explore the maps through here. You can browse and explore. Of course, the only state we're going to have available is Texas. Then you can look at different cities and see maps based on those cities. You can select dates to kind of get an idea of where the city is during those time periods and see what's available for a specific city that you're looking for. So that comes in handy when you're trying to figure out geographically where your family was located within Texas. And in relation to this, there are as you can see, a drop down. So there are digital Sanborn maps for other non-Texas entities. So if you are looking outside of Texas, you might see if any of the libraries for those areas have access to the maps and if they have any sort of agreement that would allow you to access them from afar. Not always the case, but it never hurts to ask. Okay. And yes, so here's a link directly to the database. This is kind of the landing page for all of the databases related to TechShare, not just the genealogy ones, but that is available there. And this is a link that goes straight back to the news bank, but it's specifically for the Plano Star Courier. What's available through this is 2006 to current. It says 2025, but it is currently ongoing and being added to. Um, so for older ones, we'll get into what's available through the library and what we have available for you guys. But online, that's what's available through Newsbank. And then finally, we have History Geo, and this one is also focused on land ownership maps. So if you have families that had any land property, this resource is an option for looking through and seeing those maps. I'm not really going to delve in too deep, but you have First Landowners Project, which displays original landowners. We also have an antique map collection and then a place finder. So this is a fun tool that you can locate using geographical features or by names of towns and counties that you might have available and kind of allows you to look at the maps around those areas. So that is available as well. All right, any questions before we shift on to the United States resources?
Nothing new at this time.
Oh, sorry, I almost completely forgot. We just got, as of, I believe it was last month, a new one added to the TechShare database. So let me pull that one up real quick. Um, it is available under the United States one. For whatever reason, it's not on our genealogy database list, but we have newspapers.com Texas edition. So newspapers.com is a great resource for finding obituaries. I'm sure many of you might have hit that brick wall because for a lot of the newspapers, you have to have a subscription to get into newspaper.com. But you now have access to Texas newspapers at least. So, yay, that's super exciting, especially if you have a lot of Texas family. So, our collection spans 1842 through 2024, and this will give you access to a lot of obituaries that were unfortunately behind paywalls up until recently. So, this is available through TechShare. So, you'd have to log into TechShare and then sign in. Um, but that'll get you access to a lot of great newspapers and get you access to those. Like I said, obituaries is a big one. We've had many people contact us about trying to find obituaries that were behind the newspaper.com paywall. So hopefully now you'll have access to those. That became available starting in June. So that's an exciting one that we just recently added. It has over 200 Texas newspapers. So good resource for that. Okay, so from our United States one, and I would like to say we are in the process of updating our website. So we will still have this resource available. It may look a little differently. They have not told us exactly what the final product's going to look like, but we are going through and weeding our list because some of these resources have become dated and some of them haven't. So um, I am going to focus on some of our top resources, and you are welcome to explore the ones that are still on here that we don't touch on today. but we are working on vetting all of our resources and coming up with a nice, compact, and comprehensive list for you all. Just wanted to put a disclaimer out there on that. So, looking at our United States resources, let's start off at the top here, the Allen County Public Library Genealogy Center. So you might ask, why do you have another library's genealogy center on here? Well, this is one of the largest research collections available in the United States for genealogy. A vast quantity of what they have is on site, but they have a pretty good number of free online databases available for use on your research. They also offer services as well that provides assistance in your genealogical research. They have some pathfinders for special topics to kind of help you navigate those topics and find what you're looking for, as well as online classes to teach you about stuff just like we do. So it's another great resource for exploring more information. So you can check out family archives and look at online collaborations, look at the digital libraries that they have available. Um, Let me bounce back here. You can also see their resources. They have a search where you can see and narrow it down specifically to the free databases that you'll have access to, and then narrow it down to different topics. So that is available there. And then from the list, you can click on the databases and explore them. So moving on from there, we'll look at Chronicling America. So Chronicling America is a collection of American newspapers. Let me pull it up here. It is it's got digitized newspapers from about 1789 to 1936, and it also has a directory of newspapers from 1690 to present. The directory is really neat because you can figure out who has these newspapers, when they were published, and if you have the bandwidth and capacity to come into the library, you can look at potentially doing an interlibrary loan and getting those sent over here, or having them scan articles that you might need as well. The digitized ones are searchable, so that's always great. The search engine is not a very robust one, but it does have filters that allow you to narrow it down. And I mean, it does have an advanced one that you can narrow it down a little bit more. Um, but that is a great resource for newspapers. Highly encourage you to check that out. And it looks like they expanded theirs a little bit from the last time we did a presentation, because it says that they've got from 1756 to 1963. So we've had a few older newspapers added. That's exciting. Yay. Okay. Any questions so far? And these are getting into resources that are 100% free, don't need a library card. Just click on the link and you'll get there.
No questions at this time.
Cool. So moving along. So we've got so the Ellis Island here. Let me open that up. So this is the long name for it is the Statue of Liberty Ellis Island Foundation. Ooh, mouthful. But they have a great database of incoming immigrating uh, individuals. So we've got 65 million searchable records, which is awesome. These are all based out of their American Family Immigration History Center, or for short, Family History Center. And they have all of these records available online. So you can do a passenger search. Um, get there. You have lots of information about it, but you can type in names and do some searches. You can say that you want an exact match, make adjustments, make depending on like sounds like, closer, alternative spellings. And this is very important because when people were coming in, they were communicating their names to people who were writing them down. And so spellings could have been written wrong. People can mishear. And also, sometimes people decided to completely change their names. So those are all things to consider when you're searching these types of databases. All right. We also have the Making of America collection here. So this one has got a little bit more of a focus on historical elements to give you backgrounds into the time periods you're looking for, but they do search full text. So if you have notable family members, you might be able to find some mention of them in the resources that they have. This digital library is maintained by the University of Michigan Library, and it is a huge collection, and it's truly impressive how many books that they've digitized. It's a fun one, definitely, to get some background history on, but you might also get lucky and find some details about your relatives. So you can check that one out. And the time period spans from antebellum period through Reconstruction for this one. And of course, we've got the classic National Archives and Record Administration, or NARA. So NARA is a great resource. It is the nation's record keeper. So they get about 1 to 3% of the government documents that are generated that are considered of legal or historical importance. And so they have a pretty decent collection of those records that are available, and they actually have a whole section devoted to genealogists. So you can scroll down here for information for genealogists. They recognize that we have an interest in what they have to offer. They have some great guides here for getting started, as well as charts and forms that you can utilize, and free databases that are available through National Archives facilities. They have popular topics, so how to explore these different types of records. And then they do workshops, which are always great. And then guides on how to look through their catalog, explore their electronic records, and their other catalogs that they have. So that is a great landing page for getting started on your exploration of genealogy. And then we have the US GenWeb. So this has been maintained for quite a while. It is a volunteer-run collection of free online resources for genealogy. So the US GenWeb is the landing page for the United States at large. Um, you can select different states to get to the state-specific GenWeb that focuses on resources for that state. So, for example, Texas. Um, from there, you can see they have different tabs. And of course, because this is volunteer run, each page is going to look a little different. You're going to have different levels of the quality of the page as well as the upkeep, especially if a page does not have a sponsor anymore. You can see the counties are broken up here, and the coordinators are the people that have volunteered to take care of that page for that county. You can see there are some counties that are in need of some love, but they're still a great spot for going to get resources for a specific county, especially if you've got that roadblock that you're trying to figure out. It does give you a little bit of a throwback to the older web pages of yesteryear, but the information is good, and we highly recommend coming here to explore when you have that roadblock that you're trying to get past. And if you're ever interested in adopting a county, you can feel free to do so. Volunteers are always needed. Okay, and then see, I had one more on here. Let me see if I can find it. Where did it go? Oh, I guess that's Texas. Oh, nope, there it is. I just went past it like 5 times. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So we also have on here um, the online searchable death index and records. So many of the online resources like Family Search have connections to a variety of death indexes and records, but there's no guarantee that they have connections to all of them. So if you are looking for a particular death record and are coming up with poor results, or maybe you have too many results and you need to narrow it down a bit. You can come on here. It's organized by state. And when you click on a state, it will give you a list of the online records that are available. And then it also breaks them down by county. And the nice thing about this is it's not the prettiest or easiest to navigate, but it does give you direct links to where you can access the resources. And if they aren't free to access, they give you information about what you'll need to do to get that access. So, for example, this one here, they've got the Delaware death records for 1861 to 1933, which is available through Ancestry. So you'd need to have that subscription or the library edition and come into that. Whereas other ones, they've got available through other means. Some of them are through Family Search. So you can come on here if you're looking for a particular uh, county, maybe, or a particular time period, and see if you can find a better way to look through those death records. All right. Any questions before we move on to Texas?
Not at this time.
All righty. So for Texas, we have Portal to Texas History. And this one is super exciting for us because just recently we did a partnership with them. So the Portal to Texas History is a gateway to rare historical and primary material from or about Texas. It's a digitization project that is created and maintained by the University of North Texas Libraries. So we recently did a project with them to start digitizing our Plano Star Courier newspapers. So there is, of course, a bunch of other resources that are available through here that you have access to, and you can explore it by searching. You can explore by the collection or the particular partner that's been involved. You can look through subjects, dates. It's really a great resource. There's different types of searches that you can do. And we'll get a little more into the project we worked on when I get into Plano resources. We also have the Texas General Land Office, which is right here. This is, again, one of those resources that's great for looking into land ownership. So from here, you can explore the archives and heritage and look into search our collections. And they've got 3 major databases that you can search through. So they've got the land grant database, which has 6 million documents that have been digitized. They also have a map database. So if you're needing to figure out where exactly your family lived, another option there. And then they have a surname index. So this is a really cool way to look for people. It's an alphabetical listing of grantees and patentees that were issued land grants by both the state of Texas and its Republic of Texas, the early version. They also have lists of guarantees for Spanish and Mexican land grants. So if you have family that dates that far back, they do have a Spanish collection that you can look through as well. So let's see. And um, looking through the newspapers.com Texas edition, as I mentioned, that one it does require getting through TextShare, but it is focused on Texas. So that's a great newspaper resource for Texas specific research. So getting a little closer in on Collin County, we have a lot of great resources on here. The biggest one is, dearest to our heart is the Collin County Images, which is operated by us here at the Genealogy Center. So I'll open that up real quick. So this is a collection of photographs, documents, yearbooks, and other archive material that represent the people and places of Collin County. Our original material is housed in the Genealogy Center here at Plano Public Library. We have 21 collections of digital photographs, documents, and books on Collin County history. So topics include, of course, Plano, but we also have county materials as well. We've got the Plano Chamber of Commerce, Plano Fire Department, and Plano Police Departments that have all shared information and images with us that we have uploaded on here, as well as several family collections, including Gladys Harrington, Christie, Bacchus, Mays, Smoot, and other well-known names. The archive items are donated to the library, as well as, like I said, city departments that have uploaded documents for us. One of the really cool ones I just recently explored was a Parks and Land Development archive that had several images from the 70s and 60s for early Parks and Rec places. So lots of like kids playing in the park and community images. So that was a really cool um, collection of images to explore. And images, depending on what information we have available, some images will have a lot of detailed information under them that can add to the context of the images. So it's a good place to explore for that sort of information. Also available is several resources from the county clerk. The county clerk of Collin County has a genealogy corner. This genealogy corner has a little brief explanation of the namesakes of the county and some of the cities within it, as well as a little bit of a county history. And available are also searches. So you can look through land records, historical searches, marriage licenses. Um, Also, a little darker, you got your mental commitments. And they are a repository for military discharge information. So those are very a few different ways to search. As far as marks and brands go, if you have land and cattle owning families, these marks and brands, you can look at the different ones that were available and find your family's mark that they used for their cattle. So if you come from cow folk, that is a interesting one to explore as well. They do also have death certificates and deeds, so you can look through a lot of these different ones. Oh, and birth certificates. Now, birth certificates are going to be a little more, you're going to have to pay money to get access to, but they do have the historical searches that let you um, search through some of the older documents that they have available. In addition to this, there's also the Collin County Historical Commission. So let me bounce back to there real quick. And from the Historical Commission, this focuses, of course, mostly on historically important sites, but they do have lists of historic cemeteries. So you can kind of look through those and see um, the resources they have for maintaining those sites as well as where they're available. They also have information about historical markers for historically significant locations. And then through their programs and assets, or directly through the link on our website if you want, you can get to the historical assets map. And this is a really cool interactive map where you can see different locations of historically important sites in Collin County. And so you can use this interactive map to explore different sites. And there they all are. Took them a minute to populate, but they're there. Yay. So that's all available through the Collin County, like I said, the clerk's office and the historical commission. So those are two county level organizations that are really great. We also have our own genealogical society, so the Collin County Genealogical Society, and they have their own landing page. So the Collin County Historical Society, sorry, excuse me. No, Genealogical Society. I did a typo there. Or CCGS, as we lovingly call them, are a supporting art organization of the Plano Public Library for over 50 years. They've been very involved with us doing programs here, as well as we are a site for their monthly meetings. They have a lot of great helpful links available on here under their collections, as well as a list to their events where they have workshops and seminars and educational programs about using different resources for doing your genealogy searching, and how to get through roadblocks, that sort of stuff. You can also contact them. So if you're struggling and need some help, these people are very knowledgeable and will be glad to help you figure out how to get through that roadblock. We also have a few PDFs on here that were compiled by one of our librarians of in-house holdings. Now, the downside to these is you'd have to come in to actually utilize them, but you can search through them to see what we have available and see if it's worth your while to come in and ask to see some of our yearbooks. These are available in our archives and we can pull them out for you if you're interested in looking at them. But we have yearbook index, telephone directory for Collin County index, and then what was the other index we had? Oh yeah, cemeteries. We have a cemeteries of Collin County index that were our PDF documents that we created to help in your searches. And then, as I mentioned, the GenWeb for different counties. We've got one for Collin County directly linked here. You can, of course, get to this page through the US GenWeb, but if you want a shortcut, this is a quick way to get to that GenWeb page with all of those different resources available. Okay, and that leads us, last but not least, to Plano. So Plano specific, though they are very knowledgeable on Collin County as well, is our second genealogical organization, the Genealogy Friends of the Plano Public Libraries. So we've worked with them for many years as well. They have events that they host regularly with us that you can get to from their event page. They do regular once a month Saturday seminars, as well as a DNA forum. So if you're interested in getting into DNA research, that's a great place to start. They have a link, uh, collection of links available to help with your researching. So lots of good stuff here, as well as being able to contact them for help with research. So they are a great collection of knowledgeable people. And in fact, we have several members of both groups that they are members of both of the groups. So great resources of knowledge for that. All right. And then finally, for our older Plano Star Courier publications, pull that up here. We've got, where is it at? It's a new link. So hopefully it's findable. Hmm, don't see the link on here. It's fine. Helps to click the right thing. Okay, here we go. So this is a direct link to the Portal of Texas specifically for the Plano Star Courier. It needs updating. For some reason, it's not pulling up the holding right away. But if you clear out the filters, you can select partners, and then you can type in Plano, and that will get the partner, the Plano Public Library. We've uploaded over 3,000 images. They range from August 18th, 1904 is the first one that we've got here, when it was still called just the Star Courier, all the way through December 31st of 1981. There is, of course, a few gaps here and there because unfortunately we did not get all of the various items. But we do have a pretty robust collection of those newspapers. Um, the Plano Star Courier was weekly when it was just the Star Courier and up till about 1964. And then it was daily for a short run. We have yet to digitize past 1981. Unfortunately, our partnership was funded by a grant, and we have not renewed that grant, so the project is on pause, but hopefully we will be able to do that in the future. If you are looking for anything post 1981, up to 2006 when the digital collection kicks in, we do have those on microfilm. You just have to come in to see them, unfortunately. Uh, Trying to think if there's anything that we've skipped out on. Oh, if you are interested, we do have a name index that was done by a staff member back in the day. So these are PDF documents again, but it is a name index for the years 1918 through 1923 for these individual ones, and then 2003 through 2013. Um, the 18 through 23 are less relevant now that we've been gotten those digitized because you can do a pretty decent search on these without having to uh, take the step of going through the index. But for our ones that we haven't digitized, the 2003 to 2006, this might be a handy one to figure out if you do need to, in fact, come in to look for that newspaper article about your family member. Okay, I think I hit all the good points. And of course, a friendly reminder for all things Plano, do check out the Collin County images because many of our images are Plano specific just due to the nature of what we receive as donations as a Plano library. So while Collin County images does span the entire county, I would say a majority of what we have to offer is Plano specific. All right. We've got 5 minutes left. The hour went by quickly. I hopefully did not skip over anything. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Okay, we have a question. What resources are available for outside the US?
That we have limited access to because when you get into outside of the US, you're going to start getting into different languages, which we just do not have the scope to vet because we have limited language capacity depending on staff members who are here. Um, that is a good question. I would recommend sending us a Ask a Librarian on that one or Ask a Genealogy Librarian email, which let me show you how to do that. Genealogy Center, because we can research that a little and respond. So if you come down here to Research Assistance from the main Genealogy Center page, there is Ask a Genealogy Librarian. This is for concise questions where we can answer it quickly in an email. You can click on that. It'll open up a form, fill out the form. Do provide as much detail as possible so that we can answer your question thoroughly. If we need to, we will, of course, contact you for clarifying information if needed, but um, the more detail you can provide, the better. And you can also do the Book a Genealogy Librarian here. And this one is one-on-one. We typically do these in person, but we are perfectly happy to meet with you over Zoom if you are unable to come into the library. And we can do a one-on-one 30-minute session tailored to specifically focus on a question. So if it's a question like, how do I fill out an ancestry chart? Or I've got this particular roadblock, what options do I have to look for? And we can do our best to assist you with that. Sorry, I couldn't provide more specific information on that. Our scope at our center is specifically no broader than US. Now, I will say some of the other libraries that we have listed on our website, including that Virginia County one, they may have some international resources available. So I always encourage people to look at the local libraries for the areas that they're looking at or where your last known family might be at. But you can also explore greater resources at some of the larger libraries that exist out there.
Okay, we have a new question.
Sure.
Are we able to print large documents at the library?
The largest we are capable of printing at Haggard, and I cannot speak for the other locations because they have different settings for their printers, but at Haggard, we are able to print down in genealogy on 11 by 17, and that is the biggest we are capable of printing. Um, we have unfortunately got, the standard business printers, and they have limited paper tray options. And we unfortunately cannot make exceptions to allow outside paper into our printers just because we have had experiences where they get jammed and can damage the equipment. So we limit it to 8.5 by 11 and 11 by 17 in our genealogy printer. And then on our upstairs, 11 and a half or sorry, 11 by 8.5 and 8.5 by 14. So legal and letter size on our second floor. That answer it?
Yes. We
Okay.
have no more questions at this time.
All right. Well, we're at the end. If you guys come up with questions or you weren't sure how to word it or you didn't want to make it a share across the board question, again, always feel free to send us a Ask a Librarian question through the online form. We'll be glad to answer your questions as best we can, or at least connect you to resources to help you get those answers that you're looking for. And thank you so much for joining us. Oh, and I almost forgot. Oh, cannot forget. I do have a slide to share for our partners that I really wanted to show because we enjoy our working with our partners so much. Let's see. There we go. We have, oh, of course it's backwards. It's always backwards. There we go. We have monthly partner programs at Haggard. The next upcoming ones are the research at the library. This is a great opportunity to come in with all those questions that you have. It'll be Saturday, August 9th from 10:30 to 1 p.m. The members of our, I believe, genealogy friends. I'll make sure I get that right. Yes, our gen friends, our genealogy friends will be here to help you with your research questions. They are also the ones that do the DNA forum, and that next one will be on Tuesday, August 12th, 7 to 8 p.m. That one is hybrid, so for any of you who are homebound or just don't want to get up and come out, they are doing that from 7 to 8 p.m., and you can register through them to get the Zoom link for that. And then we have the DAR comes regularly and does how to join the DAR. And they give you all the information on how to get the correct paperwork necessary to join that organization. And they'll be here again Saturday, August 16th at 10:30. And then for our Collin County Genealogical Society friends, we are going to start adding their events onto our online calendar starting in September. But they do have August events. We just don't have it posted on our calendar yet. So if you are interested in any of the great programs they have, check out their website for their event calendar and come visit. All right. Thank you so much, everyone.